Most real estate agents really suck. The truth of the matter is, a bad real estate agent is going to make you lose money when you're trying to sell a home, and is going to make you pay too much when you're trying to buy a home. So whether you're buying an investment property or whether you're buying a home for your personal use, I'm going to share with you the 7 things that I look for when I'm buying real estate. The first thing I look for is for market experience. I want a real estate agent that understands the highs and the lows of any given market. So typically that's somebody with at least 10 to 15 years of experience. Now, I know some of you are going to say, well, wait a second, Miles, I just started real estate and I just got my license. That means, you're not recommending me. Yeah, that's the truth of the matter is I'm not recommending you. Now, this is my own personal choice from that perspective. I've gone to Detroit to buy investment properties, Chicago, and I also do a bit of buying here in the local Canadian market. I find that when you don't have that market experience, it can actually impact the transaction as a whole. And as an investor, I'll pay too much money. And if I'm trying to buy something for my personal use, I'll also pay too much money if I don't have a real estate agent that has a good ground understanding and that has seen the highs and the lows of any market condition. Now, the second thing I look for is targeted experience. So not general market experience, but now local targeted experience. Now think about it this way. If an agent sold 20 homes in a year, let's say in 2023, the agent sold 20 homes. And when you look at their track record, all of the homes that they've sold are in a specific zip code or in a specific postal code. It's a very concentrated and highly dense area. That tells me that this agent has understanding of the local dynamics in the local market. And that's really important. Contrast that with someone who sold 20 homes, but they're all over the province. Let it be Northern Toronto, Southern Toronto, or anything like that. It's good that they're selling 20 homes. That means that they're active to some degree, but because they're geographically dispersed, it doesn't give me the confidence that they really understand the local dynamics of that market. And understanding that local dynamics can make a change and can make a difference in how much I pay or how much I'm going to earn when I'm actually selling that property. Now, the third thing that I look for when I'm looking for a real estate agent is I'm looking for their references. Now, this is a very important one that I see a lot of people overlooking. When I'm looking for references, I'm looking for 5 independent references. I do mean independent. The reason I say that is because there are a number of real estate agents out there that sell 5 homes a year, for example, but they have a 9-to-5. So their references is going to be Uncle Tom and Auntie Sally and the people that are closest to them. I want 5 independent references that are going to be able to vouch for the quality of service that you were able to provide them. And that's really important. Now, I know some of you might be new real estate agents and you might be thinking, oh man, Miles, that means that you wouldn't recommend me. Yeah, that's the reality. And it's not because you're a bad person. It's simply because I want to maximize the efficiency of the transaction. I want to maximize my income, whether I'm selling a home or whether I'm buying a home. And that to me is extremely important. When I'm going out in Chicago and I'm buying a 9-unit apartment building in South Chicago, I don't want somebody who's doing this part-time. South Chicago can be really tricky. I want somebody who understands street by street and that's going to be able to represent me in that transaction. And so that local experience is important. That general experience is important. And then those client references become extremely important as well. At number 4, I have marketing experience. Now, it's really important that the real estate agent you have has a good understanding of marketing and marketing trends. You'd be surprised to see how many real estate agents are actually still old school. They list stuff on MLS and then pray to God that somebody finds it, and that's how they do their sales. Marketing is an art, and I need you to be on a bunch of different social media platforms in order for you to make sure that you're maximizing the sale of my home, whether it's a private home or an income property, and that you're also leveraging these tools in order to acquire the asset that I'm looking for. So good, sound marketing and legitimate marketing practices are really important. If you want to test for that, you can ask your real estate agent to explain to you a bit of what they do from a marketing perspective. You'd be surprised to see how many agents will actually tell you, well, all we do is we list it on MLS, and that's it. So obviously that's not someone that you want to deal with. Now at number 6, we have someone that is extremely tech savvy. Guys, today as a real estate agent, you must be on YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Kijiji, MLS, and all the major social media platforms, whether you're selling or you're buying a home. I can tell you this as an investor, but also as somebody who buys home for my personal use. If you're not out there marketing my home and you're only advertising it on MLS and praying that somebody sees it, that's not gonna cut it. Today's a very competitive environment, and I want somebody who's really familiar with the social media platforms. Now, this is more than just having an account and posting from time to time. You want someone who is actively engaged on those social media platforms, who's on Instagram, on Snapchat, responding to questions and inquiries, who's on Facebook, posting about their own personal lives and also the properties that they have for sale. You want somebody who's actually leveraging social media in order to make sales, because that is going to be the agent that's going to be available to you and is going to be able to really represent you as you're looking to buy or to sell. Now at number 6, we have accessibility. I want someone who is going to be available 24/7 to answer my questions, calm me down, give me market updates, and so on and so forth. I'll give you a simple example. A few years ago, I went to Detroit to buy an investment property, and the person that I was referred to, who's a real estate agent, has a regular 9-to-5 job, but does real estate on the side. Now, again, I have no qualms or no problem with anybody doing that. Everybody has to start somewhere. But the truth of the matter is that person tends not to have the local expertise that I'm looking for in order to make a sound investment. We ended up not buying there anyways, or not using that agent. So that's really important. You want somebody who's accessible. I'll give you another example of when I'm buying investment properties here in Canada or something for my personal use. My agent, whether it's 1 in the morning or whether it's 6 in the morning, like if she's not sleeping, she's answering my text. If she's on vacation in Mexico, she's answering my text. If she's, doing a showing with someone else and she's respecting the client, she's not going to respond to my text immediately. But the moment she gets in her car, she's going to say, "Hey, Miles, I'll get back to you right away." That's the kind of real estate agent you're looking for. Now, if you want to test for that, you can speak to the references again to get a feel for that. And during your engagement process with the real estate agent, you'll get a good sense of how quick they can turn around with communication. Communication is key, particularly in a hot market. When we bought our first home, or when we bought our second home actually, our second family home, we bought it in a hot market where there was a lot of bidding going on. And so if that's the case, I need to have real-time updates on what's going on, who's bidding what I need to bring my offer to, and so on and so forth. In a competitive market, this is where you can tell the bad agents or the less good agents than the top-notch real estate agents. Now, the last criteria I use in order to select my real estate agents is about gut. You know your feeling, when you just have a conversation with someone and things just click. Now, sometimes your gut could be wrong. Some real estate agents are really good at marketing themselves, but then they suck in the end. And so these are hopefully the exceptions. But sometimes you can build a relationship with someone and you can figure out, those points of connections. And this is where trust and compatibility comes into play. It's very difficult to test for that, but by having conversations, speaking to the references, and then engaging with that person on and off, you get a real sense of the person's character. In real estate, you've got a lot of shady players, unfortunately, but you also have a lot of ethical, hardworking moms and dads, single parents that are doing this wholeheartedly and that are doing this to the benefit of their customers. So that trust and that compatibility is really important. And when you do find a good agent, you keep them. I've got one. I'm keeping her for as long as she breathes and she doesn't retire, and then I might hire her kids if her kids are into that kind of stuff as well, because there's a high degree of efficacy here and there's a high degree of trust, and we've built a relationship with our family, and that is very helpful when you're trying to look for investment properties and when you're trying to move things forward in order to build a real estate portfolio. So the key takeaways here is that local experience is important, market experience is important, compatibility and communication is extremely important, and trust, the trust that you can develop with your real estate agent is extremely important, because you're buying one home today, but you might buy a second one, a third one, and investment properties in the future. If you enjoyed this video, please destroy the like button, share with a friend, and more importantly, subscribe to this channel. I'll catch you on the next one.